Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm taking a look at the Washington football team and going over whether or not they're contenders or pretenders. But before into that topic, just a quick question for those of you in. Comment down below, where do you rank Antonio Gibson amongst running backs in the NFL? I don't need you to give me an exact ranking of number 7 or 12 or 14, but give me a range. You think he's top 10, top 12, top 15? Give me an ideal range of where you got him heading into the 2021 season. Excuse me. But getting straight into it, just to make it clear what I mean by contender, I don't mean can they contend for the playoffs. Can this team contend for a Super Bowl? Can they bring home a Lombardi trophy? Can they be in the running for that? Not just make the playoffs, not just get a playoff win. Do I think they can make several playoffs wins, get all the playoff wins, and go all the way? That's what I mean by contender. And pretender, pretty much the opposite. But getting straight into it, looking at the Washington football team all around, I do really like this Washington team. Not a fan, but who isn't a fan of Ryan Fitzpatrick? I'm always going to root for him to do well. Looking at the other guys on this team, Antonio Gibson, I already mentioned him. I do think he's right outside the top 10, but with top 10 potential this year. I just think he hasn't played a whole lot as a rookie. Even when he did, he wasn't given the baton of the full starter the entire amount, so I don't think we've even seen his full potential. But just based on the small sample size, he's right outside of the top 10 to me. But him and J.D. McKissick, pretty good running back duo as far as it comes to out of the backfield. I do like both of them as receiving threats, and that's why I like Gibson a lot. Looking at the receiving core, we know how good Scary Terry is. Now he's got Curtis Samuel. They drafted De'Ami Brown. I believe it was the third round or second round they took him in. Third round, I have it right here. They got Samuel Cosme in the second round, a pretty good tackle to help out this offensive line. They already kept Brandon Scherf to keep the interior stout. Offensive line is well-rounded for the most part. Logan Thomas is probably going to have his best year yet as a tight end. Pretty good on the offense. I know Ryan Fitzpatrick, haven't gone over him much, but he's such a big wild card and question mark. I'll save him for later. I like their coach, Ron Rivera. I do think he's on the brink of being a top 10 head coach. I like the offense of what Washington's got. Defense, though, it's that much better. Washington has a top 5 defense with the potential of having the best defense in the NFL. Make the argument they have the best front four: Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen. It's a great front four. Like I said, you can make the argument it's the best front four. There's other ones out there that I like. The Bucks, Shaq Barrett, and Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea, JPP. There's other ones out there as well, but like I said, they hold their own. You can make the argument that the Rams and Aaron Donald alone is a top front four in the NFL, but I do like Washington to possibly hold the crown for now. Linebackers, there was kind of a hole there, but they fixed it this year in the first round, getting Jamin Davis. Do I expect him to come in and be the captain of this team, lead the front seven right away? No, but I do think in time, halfway through the season, we could see him fit the role perfectly and really fill the spot they were looking for. I like the secondary. I was concerned in the beginning of the offseason when they lost Ronald Darby, but they replaced him with an even better corner in William Jackson. They got Cameron Curl. They have Landon Collins. They brought Bobby McCain in. I like this Washington defense a lot. Kendall Fuller, left him out, pretty good corner. Washington's not missing much. All around, I know Fitzpatrick is a question mark, but top to bottom, head to toe, this team is very well-rounded. I like them to win the NFC East this year. I know Dallas can be a threat. I think Dallas could split a series with them. I could see Dallas even beat them twice, yet I do see Washington having the better record overall. I just think they're much more well-rounded. Dallas has a weak defense. Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, I do think that'll be lethal, but again, I like Washington a lot more. I like their head coach more, and I like their top-to-bottom roster a lot more. I know this isn't a Dallas versus Washington video, but still, that is kind of their biggest threat out of the NFC East. In total, contender, pretender, I slightly lean towards contender. I know that's bold, and I should get into the Fitzpatrick thing. Look, in my opinion, what I think of with Fitzpatrick in this defense is what I thought of Peyton Manning with the Denver Broncos 2015 defense. And I hate to compare Peyton Manning, some people think is the GOAT. Some people think Peyton Manning's the best quarterback of all time, but a lot of people, critic or not, will give him top 5, and I will give him top 5. And I hate to compare Peyton Manning to Ryan Fitzpatrick, a guy that's, has he gone above 500 once, maybe twice in his career? I'm not trying to compare the two as a whole in the macro, but in the micro of Peyton Manning's last year being carried by the number 1 defense in the NFL, we could see Ryan Fitzpatrick, a guy that is not great, but is able to throw up a couple ducks in the air to some pretty good receivers that could catch the ball and be carried by the number one defense in the NFL. And therefore, I think they're a contender. I'm not saying, Von Miller, the guy who he built his Hall of Fame case in 1 year almost, is going to be, Chase Young. But I do think depth-wise, I think Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, they can make an argument to be close to them. I'm not going to say, again, they're not Von Miller and Shaq Barrett that year, but I do think they're close to that range. Linebacker core, I already said I like Jamin Davis. Broncos, they went to the Super Bowl. In their secondary, they had Aqib Talib, Chris Harris Jr., pretty good corners. Kendall Fuller, William Jackson, Cameron Curl, Landon Collins. I like that team to possibly make it just as good as they will, and I don't have a problem making that comparison, and therefore I do think they're slightly contender. Again, I'm not trying to compare them as a whole, Peyton Manning, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm not saying the Washington football team will win the Super Bowl, but I do think they're more of a Super Bowl contender than a pretender. I do think they can make an appearance. I know that's as bold as can be, but I just like the weapons they got. Antonio Gibson, I like him in the receiving game. I like him in the running game, and I think that's going to be a good safety blanket for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I like Ron Rivera to hopefully help Ryan Fitzpatrick cut down on interceptions. I know Fitzpatrick's whole career he's had a lot of picks and touchdowns, but I do think Ron Rivera can hold him down, and having this stout offense of Logan Thomas, Scary Terry, Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick, a lot of safety blanket targets. I do think this offense could be ran efficiently. In Washington, all they need is a game manager. We don't need Fitzpatrick to throw 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. We just don't need him to throw 100 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 3 picks. We need 250 yards, 2 touchdowns a game, 0 picks. That's it. Nothing huge, nothing great, nothing amazing. We need efficiency and productivity, and that's all. The defense will limit the team enough. The defense will get a turnover. The defense will get a touchdown of their own. The defense will do the rest. If Chase Young can make this huge year 2 leap going from, I can't think of what he had last year, was it 7.5 sacks off the top of my head? Maybe it was 9. One of the two, 7.5 or 9. Either way, he had a pretty good year. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year. If he could bump that up to double digits, get 12, 11 touch sacks, Montez Sweat, he could join them. They could both get double-digit sacks. This is a defense that you don't want to play this year. They were a problem in the playoffs. I know the Bucs beat them, but it was one of the most interesting games the Bucs had in the playoffs as far as nail-biting and back and forth. And Washington's better than they were last year. I don't want to say they got this huge upgrade at quarterback. For all we know, Taylor Heineke could start again, but I do think they got better at defense. I think they got better in the receiving group, and I do think they'll get better in the backfield just because of more experience and reps. I like Washington this year. Am I saying they're going to win the Super Bowl? No, but I think they're more of a contender than a pretender. And again, contender doesn't mean playoffs. I'm not saying Washington will make the playoffs. I seriously think Washington can maybe make it to an NFC Championship carried by the defense. I'm not saying Fitzpatrick's carrying them. I think they need him to throw 2 touchdowns and 200 yards a game in order to be good. They don't need extra out of them. I just think this defense is spectacular. They're top 5 with top 1 upside. That's going to determine it. Top 5 defense, I don't think could take them there, but if they can make the leap to top 1, that's how I should solidify my final take. If Washington can jump from top 5 to top 1, literally being the number 1 defense in the NFL, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, if they could jump to number 1, I like them being a contender. If they're number 5 or higher, 6, 7, 8, which are still great, they will be a pretender and fall short of a Super Bowl. Top 1, though, I think they could go really far. You guys tell me, though, do you agree or disagree with my take? I know that's kind of bold, but if they truly are the number 1 defense in the NFL, I believe in them not to win the Super Bowl, but to be a Super Bowl contender and make a run at it. As always, and of course, though, I do want to hear your opinions. Refer back to the question today. Where do I rank Antonio Gibson? I've already kind of given my answer, but to predict it again or give it again, right outside the top 10, scratching me inside of top 10. I think he'll get it possibly with more reps this year, but we'll just have to see. As always, and of course, thank you for watching, guys. 2-minute warning.